church of the restored, repositioning you for a sure and better future.
Praise the Lord. It's about making progress. It's about making a path for yourself. It is about living a fulfilled life. It is about being impactful. It is about reigning in life. Praise the Lord. Let us see from the book of Exodus, the 4th chapter, from verse 1. Before I read, there was the need for salvation or deliverance in Israel or in Egypt, of the Israelites who were in Egypt at that time. And Moses was being chosen to do that service. He had some impediments. He couldn't talk well. He was a stammerer. And God chose him to go and do that work, where we need to do much talking. And he must succeed in that enterprise. And the man saw himself as incapable based on how he was by reason of his impediment of speech. He didn't see himself as being as one who can do such an assignment of rescuing or delivering a whole nation out of another nation. It's a big, big task. And then, here was his first complaint. Let's read verse 1 now. We'll see what God began to tell him to do. And Moses answered and said, but behold, they will not believe me, nor hearken unto my voice. For they will say, the Lord hath not appeared unto thee. This is all people now. Verse 2. And the Lord said unto him, what is that in thy hand? And he said, a rod. Awesome. What is that in thy hand? And he said, a rod. In ancient times, men go about with a staff. Men with a staff. A staff, which you call like a rod here. It's a rod, of course, a rod. It's a branch of a tree, a twig, but a staff made of wood, of course. So every man has his own. And even a shepherd, you will see it among the shepherds. They have that staff or the rod with them. And God just asked him, what is that in your hand? And he said, a rod. Verse 3. And he said, cast it on the ground. And he cast it on the ground. And it became a snake, a serpent. And Moses fled from before it. He ran, even in God's presence. And the Lord said unto Moses, put forth thy hand and take it by the tail. And he put forth his hand and caught it, and it became a rod in his hands. Please go quickly to verse 17. And thou shalt take this rod in thine hand, wherewith thou shalt do signs. That same rod was in his hand. And he says, and thou shalt take this rod in thine hand, wherewith thou shalt do what? Shalt do what? So he was to do signs with that rod. Verse 20, same chapter, verse 20. And Moses took his wife and his son and set them upon an ass and returned to the land of Egypt. And Moses took the rod of God in his hands. That same rod has changed. Praise the Lord. Now, here is a scenario. This man had been given a divine assignment to go and function somewhere in Egypt, to go deliver his people. And now, the man was arguing with the Lord, how that he's not able, he's not capable of all that. And he said, what is in your hand? He said, a rod or a staff. Very well. Cast it down. It became a snake, a serpent. And again, he took it up. It became a rod again. The rod has changed. The serpent, the signature in the man, had died. And then he took it by the tail. It became back to a rod or a staff, but not the same staff. The one he had turned to a snake. But it turned. And that same rod was not addressed as the rod of God, the staff of God. So with this staff, you will do what? Signs. Go. I'll come back there. Let's go to Exodus 14. Verse 13. And Moses said unto the people, fear ye not, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will show to you today. For the Egyptians whom you have seen today, you shall see them again no more forever. 14. The Lord shall fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. Awesome words, not so? Awesome words. Very encouraging words. Very inspiring words. But it's a clause. He told them all that God will do. But if we tell them what they will do, it is never always what God will do. It is always what you are doing or will do. Last one, you heard a powerful message here that God is faithful. God is always faithful. He doesn't fail. He is faithful. Hard faithful. Every day the sun rises and sun sets. That is God's faithfulness. The rains come in their seasons. That is God's faithfulness. God is faithful. The variant there is man. And now he says, don't be afraid. They had cried to God in the earlier verses. They had screamed at God, screamed at Moses. But he gave an assuring word here. This is what we often do too. Pastors do this a lot. Let's go further. I'll see some more things. Then in verse 15, hear God's response. And the Lord said unto Moses, wherefore criest thou unto me? Speak unto the who? the children of Israel, that they do what? That they go forward. To where? Into the sea. But see what he said in the next verse. But lift up thy I come again. But lift up, but lift thou up thy rod and stretch out thy hand over the sea and divide it. Let me read on. And who again? The children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. Awesome. God had told Moses that with this rod, you will do what? You will do what? The man forgot. Now, there was a challenge where he was to use the rod as he was earlier told. With this rod, you will do signs. And now here came a big challenge. Can't go forward, can't go backward, can't go sideways. Stuck. And then they cry to God as we always do. They pray to God as we will always do. It's all very okay to pray. We should always pray. Men ought always to pray and not faint. And then here was the divine response. Why cry to me? Why call on me? Why call me? This is not my job. Why call me? Praise the Lord. Why call me? Take that same rod, stretch it, and divide the sea and move. That was all. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Now, did it happen? Did it happen? He got that rod, really got it all stretched out, pronounced the word, the water parted. And they all passed through the sea. When it was done, the same rod stretched it back, water covered up, everybody, those who were following them, perished there. What is about that rod? Which was not called the rod of God. The rod, the psalmist said in Psalm 23, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Not so. What is it next? Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thy rod. Now, the rod is another word for scepter. A scepter. A scepter is held, it's a rod too. It's a staff. It's like it's a rod, not too long. Depending on the monarch. It's a scepter. A scepter is the symbol of authority of a kingdom. Whoever holds the scepter is the king. Whoever holds the scepter has the power, the authority of the kingdom. Are you following that? Now, as a man has authority over his home, over his household. He's the head of his household. So they have their staff. You see a man having his own symbol of authority, his staff. That's his own scepter. Now, because Moses is now being drafted to pursue the cause of God, given an assignment to do God's assignment, God's work in his kingdom, God gave him his own scepter. It does not change from that his own to God's scepter. That is the symbol of the authority of the kingdom. So with that, you have to function and do signs. It says the scepter of your kingdom is a righteous scepter. God is not holding a wand in his hand. He's not holding a rod in his hand. But he has a rod. That rod is called righteousness.
Shepherd's Vine Christian Center, the Church of the Restored, repositioning you for a sure and better future.